Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so this is what we discussed yesterday. We discussed that, okay, if we discussed that print is a function, okay, and whatever you give inside the bracket, because all the functions will have simple bracket open and close, right? So within the print, okay, if I give, let's say 5 into 4, and now if I try to run it, it's going to give me 5 into 4, 20, correct? But if same thing I put within quotation, okay, 5 into 4, right? So it's like saying, repeat after me. So it did not evaluate to 20. Instead, it printed as it is 5 into 4, correct? And what you see here, okay, this is your triple quotation, right? So these are called as comments. So triple quotation, if you put something inside triple quotation, it is treated as comments. Or if you want to give one line comment, you can say hash and followed by whatever you want to write. Okay, so I'll say will evaluate. And here I will say will print as it is. Right? So this is like multi-line comment. This is single line comment. Comments are for us, for human beings. Okay, so whenever Python sees a hash, it knows that it has to ignore and it is not for them. So many times what happens, you write your program, okay, and you come back after maybe a month, or somebody else comes and works in a official setup, right? Your code is not restricted to you, right? Others will also come and use your code. So they may not know, or they might find it difficult to understand the way you have written. So that's why comments are used, and comments have to be very helpful. And as we go along, we will see. Comments are important tool for programmers. Okay. So wherever possible, okay, you should put comment, right? Okay. So far we have seen print statement without quotation, print statement with quotation, and how to give multi-line comment and how to give single line comment. Now, Python, okay, uses single quote and double quote with the same purpose. Okay. So in this case also, there is no difference between line number 8 and line number 9. Only thing you have to keep in mind is, if you are starting with single quote, you have to end with single quote. If you're starting with double quote, you have to end with double quote. Okay. So there is absolutely no difference between line number 8 and 9. Python treats single quote and double quote as it is. Okay. There is no difference between them. Okay. But as I said, whatever you start with, if you put single quote here, you have to end with single quote. If you start with double quote here, you have to end with double quote, right? You can have multiple values with the print. I can even say 5 into 6 equal to, and then I say 5 into 6. Now you see here, I'm putting what we call as arguments. Okay. Functions have arguments. So how do you know how many arguments are here? Arguments are separated by comma, and they are separated by comma. So when you see this comma, okay, it means that this is one argument and this is another argument. Okay. And when you run it, this, since we gave this argument in quotation, it is printed as it is. Okay. So this 5 into 6 equal to comes from your quotation part. And then comma will result into a space, blank space. So when you put comma, it will separate the output from first argument and the second argument. So 30 comes from second argument, because second argument we have not given quotation, correct? So it is going to evaluate 5 into 6, 30, and this is 5 into 6 equal to, and they are separated by space because we said comma. So output will be separated automatically. Python is very clever in that way. It knows that it has to separate. And one more thing you would have noticed here is we have 4 print statements, right? And all of these 4, they're giving output in different line, right? This is giving in one line, this is giving in second line. So we are not explicitly saying Python to print the content in different line, but it does. Python is clever, okay? Python is clever. So it knows that, okay, since I'm writing 2 different print, I want to print them in different line. Okay? Most other languages, programming language like Java, C, C++, they have semicolon to indicate end of line. Okay? They'll have semicolon. Now Python also has it. Okay, so when you run it, no change in the output. But what Python says is, if you are anyway going to hit enter, okay, because we are hitting enter, right? So if you are anyway going to hit enter, then you don't have to indicate semicolon to me. Okay, you don't have to indicate semicolon to me because I understand. Okay, I think some problem with the Ram Kumar, I guess. Okay, sure. So when you when you hit enter, I know that you are going to the next line. So you don't have to tell me that semicolon indicates end of line. Obviously, isn't it? So that way Python is clever. But it also has semicolons. If you put semicolon or you don't put semicolon, it's not going to give you error. Okay? Okay. Now let's say, okay, you have print 5 into 4 and print 5 into 4, first 2 line.
Hello, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, my phone is not connecting.
You're Ramkumar, correct?
Yes, sir, I'm Ramkumar.
Yeah. So I don't know. I can see something stuck there. It says Ramkumar joining.
Sir, problem is coming to joining, sir. I'm sharing with Rajnish phone.
Sorry?
I'm sharing a screen of Rajnish with Rajnish. We are both together, sir.
You are both together. Okay.
Okay.
Sure. I don't know. Ramkumar, I can see that Ramkumar joining, but I don't know what's the problem. Maybe your internet is not connecting.
Sir, no problem, sir. Internet is there connecting.
Because it says joining. That's why. But anyway, you both are together, right? So you both are able to hear, correct?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Now I think it's gone. So it's got disconnected, I think now. Yeah. Try to connect again.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Try to connect again. Then I'll see. It was showing joining and it never got joined. Okay, so let's say you have print 5 into 4 and this 2, right? Obviously they are giving in 2 different line. 99% of the time you will write print because 2 different print because you want to in 2 different line. But I want them to be in same line, right? I want them to be in same line. Then what do I do? So see, there is a default new line. There is a default new line which is added at the end of the print statement. Okay, there's a default new line which is added at the end of print statement. So now if you want to remove that invisible new line, because you want to join them together, isn't it? You want to join these 2 lines together. I mean, output, okay? Not obviously print, okay? You can join them like this, but you want to have two different print, and later when we take mini projects, you'll be able to see where these are useful. But just to understand how we can do it, since there is an invisible new line at the end of the print statement, there is an invisible new line, which actually breaks. That's why if you see here, you have this process finished and there's a gap of one line. Because this print, okay, also has new line, and this has given this new line that you see, blank line, is coming from this print. Okay, so this print is giving us this blank new line. Now we need to get rid of that. So how do you get rid of that? So it is invisible. We can't see it. I think now Ram has joined. It is invisible, right? You cannot join. I mean,
Hello, excuse me, sir.
yes.
Sir, please repeat, sir, this line
I'm still
because
doing
I
it.
don't
Okay?
get.
I'm still doing it. I have not done it yet. Okay, just listen. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
So I'm saying that there is a invisible new line, right? And we have to delete that invisible new line. Only then these two lines will be together. So something which is invisible, how do you delete it? So first we have to make it visible, isn't it? First you have to make it visible, and then you can delete it. So how to make that new line visible? At the end of the print, let's say, you have multiple arguments, then this argument will be at the end. It is called end, end. And you say end equal to, and okay, this is how every print has it automatically added. So now I made it visible. Now I made this end visible. Okay, this every print has this automatically. Okay, every print has it. Okay, and it depends, like, even if it is not, you don't write it, Python will write this at the end of your print statement. Python will write it at the end of your print statement. No, I don't want new line. So /n is for new line. So I don't want new line. Okay, so what I'll do, instead I want a hyphen, let's say, or I want to say and. So if you put and, okay, now when you run it, so see, instead of new line, you got space and space. So whatever you put here, that will be printed at the end of this print. Okay, and did not be just one character, it can be multiple characters. So now you see, I put space and space. So 5 into 4, 20, space and space, and now the output of next line. And this anyway has end equal to /n. Okay, so the next value 5 into 6 has come in next line. So /n, okay, backward /n is used to print new line. So here we saw how to remove that default new line. Okay. Now let's say I have these two values and I want to print them in two different lines. So reverse requirement. Here we have two different print statement, and I want to comment, or I want to join their output together in one line. Here you have single print statement, but I want to break them into two different lines. So I will put here /n. Wherever, okay, wherever you want to break the line, you put /n. And /n will always be in quotation. Remember, this backward /n will always, I cannot put it here. Okay. Okay. If you want to put it here, then you have to put a quotation. Did you get it? So /n will always be in quotation. Okay. So either you put it here or you put a separate argument with /n. So this becomes one argument, this becomes another, and 5 into 6 is another. So now when you run it, you get 5 into 6 equal to, okay, from here, slash n, new line, and then 5 into 6, 30. And 6. What did we say? Comma will give you blank space, isn't it? That's why you get this one blank space here because of this comma. Slash then will break the line, and then comma will give you space and then 30. So this is how you can join two lines together or break one line into multiple lines. Yes?
How do we remove that comma? I mean that space in the output.
You cannot remove that output, okay? Because this comma is the purpose is that you are printing two different values, correct?
Right.
Okay, so let's say
So like linear output.
I'm not finished it, okay? Just give me time. So 20 comma 30, right? Now I'm printing 20 comma 30 because I want this to be two different values, isn't it? Okay, so you will get 20 and 30 separated by space because these are two different items. These are two different set of values, correct? Now, if you want to join them together, your
That
purpose
means
is
the
to-
comma is mandatory, right, sir?
Wait, let me finish first, okay? Let me finish, then you ask question, okay? Please hold on. So now, okay, because these are two different things, okay, they will be separate, right? You cannot have acid and water put together, isn't it? You have to put them in two different containers. But let's say if you want to mix them together, your requirement is that you want to put them together. So this is something that we will discuss when we go to string. You have to, okay, put them this as a string, okay, and this as a string, okay. So now when you put them string, what happens? You still get 20 and 30, and instead of comma, you add these two string together. So this is like adding two string together. Now when you run it, you get 20 and 30. If I don't put quotation, it becomes 50, right? So if I don't put quotation, so it's like adding two number. And when you add two number, it becomes 50. Or when you put them separately, the purpose is, why you are putting them separately, purpose is that they are two different stuff. So you will always have space between them. But if you do not want space between them, then you have to convert them into string and then join two strings together. Okay, now I am done. Please ask me questions.
Now suppose we want to print a pattern, okay? So 5 into 6, that line I'll print first, okay? Print 5 into 6, okay? And then I separate it by a comma.
Yeah, so you do like this, no? And see, we will have to do that when we go to string, okay? So I'll tell you, but I'll just, because you asked me, so I'll show you, okay? We'll discuss more about this when we go to string. So don't ask me why did you do like that, okay?
Mhm.
We'll do this when we go to data types, okay? This will do what you are saying, okay? Now, sorry. So instead of comma, I will put space. Oh, sorry, I'll put plus.
No, no,
Right?
I don't want to print that pattern. What I'm saying is the output like 30 and 5 into 6 and the bottom 30 has come like indented. I don't want that indent. I want it to be like in proper column format, like one
Oh,
below.
that's what I'm saying. You have to convert into string and add them. Right? So same logic you apply here. What did I do? Okay, plus str, right? That's what I said. You have to add them. Same logic. Okay, I understood what you're asking. You add them together. Now you see there's no space. So you have to convert them into string and then you add. This is what I did here, right? To convert this into string and then you add to this. Okay, we'll discuss this when we go to string. Okay, we'll have a separate discussion on string and we'll discuss all those things. But
Okay.
you got your requirement done, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So today and maybe tomorrow also, we'll focus only on print. Print is very powerful. Okay, there's a lot of features in it, and we will talk about this. Now let's take another set of examples. Now let's say I want to print. Generally, you have the stories right there. They'll say, okay, something like this isn't right. Let's say, for example, okay, this is the text I want to print. Okay, this isn't right. This is the text I want to print. Okay. So what do? You start with print, you give single quote, and you will copy this text and print it inside this. What happened? PyCharm is already giving us error here. Since we started with single quote, Python is looking for next single quote as a closing quote. Correct? So Python is thinking this is the closing quote. Okay, so there is no error till here because you started with single quote. It is looking for next single quote as a closing quote, and rest of the thing it says is incorrect. I don't understand what you are doing. But our intention is that this should be taken as closing quote, correct? Not this. So there are two different ways to do it, or maybe multiple. Okay, we'll look at two main ways of doing it. One is you put double quotation. Okay, what happened? This is the PyCharm is very clever, right? Sometimes it will see it is automatically changing all this. So what I'll do, I will delete it, and then it's auto correcting. It thinks that what we are doing is wrong, what it's doing is correct. Okay, now you see that. So what I did, because I want to print single quote as it is in the text, I started with double quote. Since we started here with double quote, Python will look for double quote as closing quote. Okay, so here the single quote is treated like a normal single quote, and you get what you wanted here. Okay, so if you want to preserve single quote, better you start with double quote. If you want to preserve double quote, better you start with single quote. So for example, okay, you have he said, what's your name? Generally he asked, right? It should be he asked. Okay, now you see this text has both double and single quote. Then what do we do? If it had only double quote, we could have used single quote as beginning quotation. Now, in this case, Python also allows us to use triple quote. Okay. So you say, okay, you copy and paste it within triple quote. Okay. Python allows triple quote as well. Says, okay, copy and paste it. So see what happened. Oh, I copied wrong. Oh. He asked, I think control, instead of copying, I pasted it. He asked, what's your name? Correct? This is our text. So I'm going to copy this and paste it inside triple quote. Now you run it. Okay. So there is no difference between single quote and double quote, we have seen. And there is no difference between triple quotes. But there is difference between single, double versus triple, and that we will do when we talk about string. Okay, but as of now, you see there is no difference between them. Okay, this is of course one way to do it. That don't use the code which is there inside the text, right? But let's say I want to print this isn't right with single quote itself. Okay, so I want to print this isn't right with single quote itself. Then we use what we call as backward slash. Okay, backward slash is called escape sequence. Is called as escape sequence. It's like escaping the actual purpose. Okay, now this is how I remember. Okay, this is not the correct definition, but this is how I remember. Is okay, will add or remove power from you. Now you see, n is a simple character. N is a simple character, right? If I say print n, it will print n. But when you add backward slash, it has become powerful because now it is able to generate new line. So in this case, backward slash is adding power to that simple character n. Okay, so in that case, previous case, backward slash is adding power to n. Okay, so simple character n has become now new line. Okay, it is creating multiple lines. Now, here, this quotation is powerful, right? Because it gives us power to generate text. But when we put this backward slash n, what happened? It removed the power. Right? It removed the power. So, if you do not want quotation to be treated like quotation, that is in part of that you don't want it to be part of string, then you put backward slash. Now, let's say this example. I want to print using double quote. So I will say print double quote and I will paste it here. Now you see, this is not the quotation close. I need to remove the power that it has. I'll put slash here, backward slash here. This is fine, okay? This is fine, okay? This is not creating any problem. But to be on safer side, you said, no. Let's, what if somebody changes this to single quote? Let me put a backward slash here also. You can put it. Okay, and since again, this is not your closing quote. You have to put this here. So now when you run it, see, he asked, quotation is taken as text because it lost its power. And here also, you see, your slash is not getting printed. You are removing the quotation power of that single quote. And obviously here also it does the same thing. Okay, now I'll pause for 20 seconds. Just go through what we have discussed and let me know if you have any questions.
No, clear.
Good. Small things, but very helpful when you are, performing, your regular activities. Okay. Any question, guys? No? All clear?
All clear, sir.
Perfect. Now let's say I want to print slash n is used for /n is used for new line in Python. I want to print this. But what will happen if I print this? /n is used for new line, isn't it? We just gave power to n. It gave us a blank line. And then next it says space is used. So is used for new line in Python is printed here. But I want to, in this case, I want to print /n. I don't want to have a new line. I want to use /n. So how do you remove power from any special character? By escape sequence, right? You put one more escape sequence here. When you put one more escape sequence here, these two together has become one sequence, and you have, when you run it, now you get /n, single /n. Okay. Now let's say I want to print something like this. Print /n will result in single /n. This is the exact text I want to display. How will I display? It's a question, so I'm expecting answer from you guys. I want output to be exactly like this. Speak up.
Three /n's.
3
Sir, we'll
slash.
have to put a new, no, sir. We'll have to put new slash at the end of end line, /n with that. /n. Last
So,
yes, yes,
yeah.
yes, sir.
So here we understood, right? Here it is single slash, but here I want to print double slash. So this double slash will result in only
One
one
more,
single slash, right? Okay, that's what other person was saying. Okay. Now
one
what
more
happened?
that's it.
What happened? See, these two
Okay.
together. So see, this power escape sequence works only for one character. So this is a
Okay.
escape sequence special character. So it removed the power of next character. So these two together became one slash. Now there's nothing to remove this power. So now it broke the line and said result in /n. So you have to give 4 slashes. 2 slashes together will become one slash. Okay. So this is how you will print it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Or, okay, there is one more option. Okay, you put R here. R is called regular expression. You guys must have heard this before. We will discuss towards the end of our course what is a regular expression. We will not do it now. So regular, so I'm saying by putting R before quotation, you are saying to the Python, this is regular expression, ignore those special characters. So it will ignore all the power things and it will print as it is. As you give, it will print it as it is. So R indicates regular expression. I'm saying this is a regular expression. Ignore, those different things. So this is simple and easy. Just put R here and it will print. Here it will not use its brain. Oh, /n, I have to break the line, all those things. Regular expression makes it simple text. Regular expression is a simple text. So it makes this as a simple text. Right, guys? Okay. So this is about escape sequence and printing. Yeah. Okay.
So my one more question I have is
Yes.
like that regular expression R, instead of that we sometimes write F also. So what is that?
We'll do it. We'll do it. I don't think we'll have time to do it today. We'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll focus on F only.
Okay, but I
F
guess it
stands
is
for
some type of
formatting.
format. Okay.
Okay. So, couple of things you have to remember, right? Python is very sensitive to indentation. What it means is, if I give a space here, see PyCharm is already indicating error. Okay, there is a meaning hidden in indentation. Okay, so it says indentation error. Okay, by default, every line of code should begin from beginning. Now, later you give space, doesn't matter. You give space here, doesn't matter. Okay, it will ignore. But first, here you cannot give space. So when we were doing programming in C, C++, Java, right? They don't, they ignore indentation, right? It doesn't matter whether you start from first character or you give space and you start later. Okay, but our instructor would tell us to follow indentation, right? And I'm sure for you guys also, they would have been telling, follow indentation. But Python says you will have to follow indentation. There is no other option. If you don't follow indentation, your program will not work. Okay, we'll discuss more when we get to conditions, loops, and things like that. Right? Okay. You can have, okay, you can print, let's say print hello, and I have print hi, let's say. I said with semicolon is there, right? So I put semicolon and bring them here in same line. So what happens? Okay. So this is treated separately. This is treated separately. So here you see, physically these two print is in one line. Physically they are in one line, but logically they are two different lines. Right? Physically they are same line. Logically they are two different lines. Same thing you can say about here. Physically they are one line, but logically they are two different lines. This is one line, and since slash n is breaking, right? So this is another line. So physically one line, logically two lines. This is physically physically one line, logically two line. Okay, same thing. But generally we don't write like this. No, it again people will get confused. So we put in two different lines. But yes, using semicolon, you can bring them together.
And if you don't use semicolon and then print,
You'll
like,
give error. You
Okay.
can't do that, no? You'll have error. Okay. Okay. So now we'll discuss about one small topic and we will end the day. We talk about data types. Okay. It is important to understand the type of data. Okay. Why? Because what you perform, okay, what action you perform depends upon the data type. If I give you two string and I will tell you to add them together, right? Okay, we have an example here, right? This is different than this, correct? This is going to give us 2030. This is giving us 50. Why? Because this is text and this is number, right? So your approach of same operation changes because the data is different. That's why before you perform any operation, and that we will do tomorrow, is to understand what data you have in your hand, right? So, before you perform your any operation, you need to understand the nature of data. That's why we talk about data types. Okay, at very basic level, and that's what we're going to discuss for next couple of days. You have numeric, okay, you have text, and you have Boolean. Every programming languages, they have numeric, text, and Boolean. In Python, you have integer, which is represented as int. You have float, which is decimal part number, which is called as float only. And you have complex, which is again called as complex only. Okay, these are square root of negative numbers, root of -5. Remember in mathematics, we said iota, right? In your 11th, 12th class, you would have heard about complex numbers. So we can handle complex number in Python. Text, we have something called as string. We call it as string. And it is represented as str. Boolean, you have Boolean. Okay, it's called bool. It has just two values, true and false. And look at the spelling. T capital, rest small. F capital, rest small. Okay, otherwise, if you don't do like this, then it becomes a string. And string will always have quotation. You can use single quote, you can use double quote, you can use triple single quote, you can use double triple quote. All these are valid in string, though they have different meaning. They have same meaning and they have same meaning. But what is difference between them? We will do it when we talk about strings later. Okay? But for now, they are valid ways of declaring strings. Okay? So if I say value 1 equal to 5, what am I saying? It's like similar to your mathematics statement. Let x be equal to 5. What is x? So instead of x, you are saying val 1. Okay, very similar to what we do in mathematics. Let x equal to 5, let y be 6, then x plus y equal to 11. Same thing. So let val 1, or let's say let x equal to 5, let's y be equal to 6, and then print x plus y. So now when I say let x be equal to 5, right? Let y be equal to 6 and then print x plus y. Okay, this is going to give us 11, isn't it? Why is it giving us 11? Because both of them are integer type. How do you know they are integer type? We have another function called type. Type will tell us the data type of that variable. Since I said x equal to 5, 5 does not have decimal point, so it is integer. Okay, it is integer. X, right? It is integer. You can check using type. So see here, this is the second function we are learning today, type. Type is a function that gives you the data type of a variable. So I have a x as a variable. So this is a variable. Why it's called variable? Because it can change its value. It is 5. I can make it 15. I can make it 125. I can make it 1275. So value of x can change, of course. If it is 5, you can't say that, okay, let's take 5 and assume it is 10. We can't say that. 5 is constant. But I can say that let take x and assume x is equal to 10. Assume x equal to 200. Right? You can change the value. That's why I call variable. So type of variable will give you the data type of variable x, and print will print it. And we'll stop here. Tomorrow we will extend this concept and then we'll do again more print using format. Any question before we end the session?
No, sir, it's clear.
Perfect. Okay, so you'll get your recordings in some time, and this code also I'll try to send, and yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. We'll continue.
So hello.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
So classes are going to be 5 days a week or
Yeah, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday.
Monday to Friday?
Yeah.
Okay. And generally it will be 1 hour, right?
45 minutes to 50 minutes. Yeah. 45 minutes, you can say.
Okay.
1 hour will be too much. But yeah, if you have questions, we'll extend it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. Take care, guys,
you, sir.
and we'll see you tomorrow, same time. Bye.
Thank you, sir.